Welcome, guys, to a more sophisticated version of the show.
Yeah, yes, like
I was going to open with some banter because I remember what Gareth said on the last one, and I haven't forgotten about it. I'll get him back for that. I need to wait for him not to be on the show.
And now the new improved.
Yeah. I haven't forgotten about that. I'm just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Speaking of downgrades, what happened to the beard?
Girlfriend just had enough. She said it started to smell like Pronutro.
Were you eating Pronutro?
No, which is the problem. Which was the main problem. Right? But guys, welcome back. 2-month break.
Yeah.
It's been a busy 2 months mostly. I think it's one of the main reasons why we haven't really touched on anything. Although we did have a lot of things to talk about, which we will try to get into today. We might have put this into like a two-part episode.
We say that all the time.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of guys sitting at their phones going, why don't they call me for part 2 yet?
I mean like this will have to be like
we actually literally
part 1 and then edit it into
pieces.
part 2.
But can we have a cliffhanger in the middle?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden the dell bell rings.
Like this thing starts falling slowly.
Lights
go out. But yeah, I mean it's been a really busy month with ESWC. We also had, what else have we done?
EGE happened in between.
EGE, of course, that was your baby or ours as well.
Yeah.
And we had, already in terms of esports, I mean, esports
you guys had
gaming.
Your Overwatch League going on.
Yes, man, that was great.
I was thinking about fishing. That's the
problem.
Exactly.
All about WoW.
No, the WoW ground will come later. But I mean, let's start obviously with you, Gareth. I mean, you were telling us before the show about something that happened on TV this morning.
Oh no,
I don't even know anything about that. Like,
I just started on Expresso, just trying to introduce gaming and then slowly kind of esports. To try to introduce it to a little bit more of a mainstream audience.
Fantastic.
I mean, it starts really. What I found is like we've got this core market of gamers. They know everything that's going on. At least they like to think so. And it's now our job as esports and gaming ambassadors to try and get more and more people aware of like what gaming is, what it's all about. And so we've done a couple of episodes. The one was like for EGE. We've done something on esports in terms of like obviously the big prize pools out there and get people excited about that. And now it's just like some of the new games coming out. Spoke about No Man's Sky. Spoke about the new Telltale Batman.
Have you played No Man's Sky?
Yeah, I did. I played it for about 2-3 hours. Managed to get off my first 2 planets, which is like a massive achievement once you work out what the hell is going on. But yourself, have you played it?
No, I watched a little bit of streams. I was watching Man vs Game. Then I watched a little bit of Lyric playing as well. And it looked okay. Yeah. It looked like a fancy Minecraft.
Okay. For me, I'm enjoying it, but it's one of those things like you have to entertain yourself.
Yeah.
So if you've got a short attention span, it's probably not your game. But if you're one of those guys who likes to get lost and really kind of dig in and get immersed.
I mean, that's been basically me for the last week in World of Warcraft. Just getting lost.
Pretty much just Minecraft with quests.
Minecraft.
Yeah, basically Minecraft with mounts and quests and dungeons and raids. Basically Minecraft. If you just really dumb it down. But
the graphics are about the same, right?
Yeah, actually.
So have you seen what you can do in Minecraft? Jeez,
yeah, I saw some guys. Someone made paintings and buildings and replicas.
I saw someone
working abacus or something like that.
He made a farm that regenerates.
Oh, jeez.
Because what will happen is that like the seeds will then be harvested and then they get like planted in a new area and then it's self-watering when the rain comes.
That's the future.
There might even be something to up that. The dude made a playable Game Boy inside.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and someone made a working process as well. Yeah. But anyway, that's way off topic.
In Minecraft, but anyway,
way off topic. But yeah, so we had obviously now the EG and the SWC. That's probably our biggest esports news of the last few weeks or so. It was about 2-3 weeks ago that we sat down with that. I mean, it was for me. It was a learning experience. I mean, that was the first time we had like a production crew. We had a main stage.
Yeah, it was a very professional kind of looking.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I mean, I personally, I enjoyed it. I loved the event, but like just for me, CS:GO is in terms of casting, it's like. It's fallen off a little bit.
Oh what? You mean in terms of your involvement?
Yeah, I just don't feel. I'm not enjoying it anymore. But we'll get to that later.
But you've been focusing far more on your Overwatch though.
It's more that and the fact that I just not enjoying casting anymore.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that.
Well, I mean, part of what we've chatted on the show before is the fact that like this whole gaming genre or esports at least is like there's so many different niches for people to fill. And I'm hoping that part of this is like almost a recruitment call. The more we do this, is like, if you want to be a caster, look, we've just announced that there's a new position open looking for casters.
Oh yeah, no. The thing is,
but
like,
also like the guys,
Get
their roles for writers and their roles for like production people and camera people and marketers and social
people
media.
will find their niche.
100%.
yeah, there's a lot of niches, there's a lot of places to fill, but I would say of that 1,000 places need to be filled, maybe 3 of them are actually paid jobs.
Yeah. But that's where it starts.
That's where it's
getting there.
That's where it starts,
100%.
and 3 years later,
the
that's where it
same
still
could have been
starts.
said about professional sports 10 years ago, I reckon. Sure. You told me like, oh, I'm in a marketing company or I'm in an agency, we represent sports guys. Like, you'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. The top 3 players in the world probably have agents. Now it's like guys straight out of high school have agents.
Yeah.
They're all making money.
What was that show, Ballers? I don't know if you watched that.
No.
The football show. That was pretty cool.
Jeez,
It's all about agents and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, it's a massive industry. And I don't doubt that it's going there, definitely. Like esports, when you talk about all these vacancies and, you get really skilled individuals that can do these things. So you get guys like, take the video production guys on the weekend. They were great video production guys, but they didn't know a lot about esports.
Yeah.
They learned very quickly. I mean, we had them, we were literally snapping our fingers, but we were telling them, do this. And bar 1 or 2 hiccups, they figured it out immediately. So you got all these individuals that are skilled, but they aren't very learned in gaming. They're not very learned in esports either. So you ask them to handle, like you use example as marketing, for example. You have marketing guys in this country that handle gaming that are good at marketing, but they're horrible at their
gaming,
audiences.
100%.
They're horrible. They don't know their audiences. They don't know their partners. They literally would rather shift things off to other people.
Yeah. And they sell games like they're selling whatever. They came from Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But they're selling it like they're selling soft drinks, and it's different.
They're not, and then, so now you get people like involving other people to help them out. And I mean, that's kind of the start. I mean, that's how it picks up.
But I've always had this theory about the esports industry, how it grows, is having come from comedy and in this country when it was like still growing, it's pretty professional now.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I had a hand in it, but I kind of been there while it was growing. And the one thing you notice was when it started, it was just run by passionate people. It was run by people like, I'm a comedian and I want to have gigs, so I'll be my own sound guy, I'll rent my own sound, I'll do my own posters, my own social media. Until you get big enough, then you're like, I'm going to hire someone who knows about event organizing.
That's where you emphasize having event people.
Exactly.
But eventually, I guess you want to be big enough that you actually are that event company, I guess. And you have all those professionals working for you.
Or it's a case of going that you farm off the work to go, you find a PR agency that you can train and get gaming now, so that you don't have to worry about social media posts and writing articles for press. Or they do it. You almost vet it to go, as a gamer, why would anyone give a fuck? Like almost like you're going, oh, cool, this is a cool article. I care about this. This should go out. Yeah. But you're not having to do the work yourself because it detracts from what you're trying to achieve, in terms of your day-to-day. We are
definitely getting there. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone last night who was asking me a whole lot of questions about writers, PR, admin work, social media, and he's part of an organization. So you kind of see that now that it's growing, they're kind of putting out feelers out there. They wanted to know like how much the writers get paid, how much content do people expect from them and stuff like that. So you can see it is growing, and people are trying to get people, as you say, get professionals to help them now. People and thing is like now that I would say people that are around our age, between 20 and 30, who grew up in gaming, who now have grown up and working in these jobs. People, I want to say myself excluded because these people have qualifications, but they now, and they're gamers. So if someone says to them,
I need a contract drawn up. He's like, I'm a lawyer. I also happen to have been gaming for 10 years.
Yeah, I understand the industry. I've been working alongside shady individuals in the gaming industry for years. I know how to put them away, get rid of them. So let me be your lawyer. Let me handle your contracts. Because I mean, you see some of the contracts that some of these gaming organizations hand out, and you could hold them like this and water would just fly. They're so full of holes, like just anything. And but anyway, the contract dispute. That would actually be a really interesting topic to get a lawyer on here and talk about. Just hand him a couple of contracts, and let him just burst out
from overseas, the esports lawyer. Obviously, that would be an expensive interview. But
Ryan, someone.
But the fact that you're going overseas, there are esports lawyers. Like, what do you do?
There's agents, there's lawyers, there's like.
I mean, that guy specifically, I think he represents over 8 gaming organizations, like teams, so major teams, talking like NVS, the Phases, those kind of guys, and then also included is obviously.
We know Phase definitely needs lawyers now.
Yeah, and then included is the events themselves as well. So this guy's like sort of multifaceted but gaming focused. So you 100%. Do have those guys.
That was, speaking about lawyers and all that, that was actually something as well that happened pretty much between now and our last podcast, was the whole slap on gambling.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had Courtney on here a couple of months ago, and I brought up, what is going to happen when Valve drops the hammer, and he's like, and I can't remember his exact response, but it was somewhere around the lines of, nah, don't know, don't think so. But the thing is, like, there was all that heat, and then they just got literally painted with a broad brush, and they're like, okay, we're banning all these gambling sites, you're done. Like, and it's a pity because, I mean, you look at some of the viewerships now on these major tournaments, and some of them have been cut by as much as 20,000 views. I mean, you just watch them, and I mean, while the big tournaments will survive, it's little tournaments, even especially in South Africa, where the lounge offered a lot of assistance.
On the lounge,
I mean, that's completely. I mean, the WSG qualifiers last week, I think they had about 300 odd viewers on for the CS, which is decent.
Yeah,
it was. But
it would have been.
It was well
10
advertised.
times that if it was.
Oh yeah, if it was lounge, it would have been. I would say at least about 3,000-4,000. But at the same time, so like there is some sort of organic growth in viewing stuff like that. But yeah, that was big. The gambling. I mean, I personally myself didn't take part in a lot of gambling other than the lounge.
Yeah.
But it's just that whole drama around that. And
definitely put CS in the spotlight again for a good couple of weeks, maybe not for good reasons, but it's in what Kyle said, it has definitely dropped interest slightly. I feel internationally, I definitely haven't been hearing as much about CS as I used to. Obviously, every 5 seconds there was a giveaway someone's giving away a knife, or there's some lottery or something. So it's always bringing you back to the game, and that's pretty much disappeared. But I mean, completely.
Valve was obviously making money off that stuff because they're getting transactions.
Yeah, but the prices are going to drop. Prices have already started to drop a lot. Like
on items, you mean?
Yeah, the marketplace itself.
Because what you could do with those items is now less. You basically only trade.
What you can do with those items is null and void now. You can't sell. You can barely sell them to someone else for real money.
Or you can trade them,
or you can sell them to. But what's the point of trading? You just have a fancy inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say there may be 100,000 people in the world that just do it for the inventory, where the other couple of million do it because they want to make money. And it was so easy to make money. I mean, I knew guys who flipped bets who made upwards of 100,000 rand. Some people's inventories were crazy, and most of that was done on trading up, betting, and selling their skins on sites.
Yeah, because the minute you've got those skins and you've got the cash that they're worth, you sell them off there on the marketplace for money that you never get out of Steam. Your money you then buy games or vouchers,
you fill your library with games you're never going to play.
But the thing is that like Steam is always making money off that, so it's an awesome system for them. So you wonder why they removed it. Like, I'm trying to work out who has any incentive to stop this, except for the fact that the stuff wasn't well age gated.
That's the big thing.
So that people underage could gamble, and the fact that people were being represented by bots. So there is this kind of like risk of identity theft type thing, because I mean, you're essentially trading your items to a bot, and the bot's doing the transaction with you. So the risk of like, like a phishing risk or that sort of stuff, that's the only risk I can see. But if you're a big company, you kind of go, let's find a way to make that more secure, not a way to shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, like Lounge, they had a terms and conditions sort of little question or note come up the last, I'd say, 2 days before they got completely shut down.
Yeah.
So you had to agree they're over 18. So
and there were certain countries, obviously,
the last minute
that allowed it.
Attempt,
and I think the biggest thing for Valve, the reason why they shut it down, wasn't that they were, well, I'm not sure if this is what you meant, but like, they were trying to figure out how they weren't profiting solely off this. I think that's maybe one of the problems. I think Valve itself makes more than enough money. Being a privately traded
people have
company.
argued that the reason Half-Life 3 hasn't come out is because they make enough money that they don't need to actually.
I think
bring
every
out
time
new
it gets
games.
mentioned, they must make quite a bit of money, because it makes people Google Half-Life. What is Half-Life 3? Know your memes.com. What is Half-Life 3?
At least luckily for us, we had Lounge up long enough for ESWC
That's true.
weekend. Obviously, we had a lot of banter and spam to handle in the chat. That was exciting.
No, actually, you know what? Monitoring the Twitch chat, during ESWC.
It's a full-time job.
It was actually a lot more civil.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
That's because you banned guys just for speaking in Russian.
After
the middle of Russian
Saturday,
ban,
when
like,
we activated Nightbot, he was on the job.
We didn't really ban. I didn't ban. They were asking me to ban people who speak in Russian, but I'm like, let's not do that. We're not about that. We just asked them nicely, please don't speak in Russian. And they respond in Russian, then we ban them. But no.
Sorry, what are you saying?
It was the general, like, usually when we have games in the lounge, the Twitch chat, it's absolute cancer. It's horrible. But this was actually somewhat constructive. I think, once again, obviously there's no way for us to measure it, but we did have a fairly large organic following as well, watching the stream and stuff like that. And the conversations were actually okay. Very little complaining about the casters. about 1 or 2 people, where usually you look at a South African Twitch
Yeah, it's just like
and
they're
just tearing into
comments
the
about
classes.
silver and lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And,
No, this was
besides this starting points, obviously, where we had like the Sunday, some
The
sound
delays,
problems. Obviously, Friday morning as well with some technical issues on the PCs and stuff. Obviously, with the software things that we figured out, the weirdest issue ever. Like, I can't remember who actually helped us figure it out at the LAN, but someone
disable signups.
No, it was threads. People that had the dash threads for command.
They were forcing the PC to use more threads, more cores than it has.
So that was like chowing up so much
literally just
PC
destroying
power.
the PC.
And then we had to delete all the user IDs. So every time a new player jumped on the PC, logged into their profile, it like created a new profile. So eventually it like overloaded the PC, I guess, in some way. And we had to clean out Steam, relaunch their game, had to recreate their profile, re-auto exec, and it worked. So we were adding about half an hour onto every game
to do
that. It was a bit of a nightmare, obviously.
But besides that, geez, the units were awesome, as well as the screens. I think that was the biggest thing, like seeing all those 144 hertz monitors in one place. I was like, wow, it took me like 4 years to get one, and now there's 10 right in front of me. Like,
But like I said, the chat was actually decent. Like, it was okay. The people were responding, they were talking about the match for the most part. They were asking questions. I mean, I sat there answering as much as I could. And like I said, that was one of the last tournaments we had on the lounge. And I mean, was there not meant to be Dota? There was a Dota tournament after that was supposed to be on the lounge, but I don't remember if it was.
Just didn't make it in time. I think it was that recent local Dota comp that just ended. That surprise team that just beat WRG.
The only one I could think was the Perseus League or one of those like Greek God Leagues happened, and then you had the Tucconi event. It was only Dota ones.
Someone just beat WRG, if I'm not mistaken.
How was that? You were there for the...
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You were there?
Yeah, I was stage hosting.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very cool idea. So for those who weren't aware, was they do an event at Tucconi head offices. It's like a 120-seater little theatre thing there. Where the broadcast happens live, do all the player interviews and all the guys in their booths, or at least like in front of the screen, and then it was broadcast live for the finals in Cavendish. So here in
I heard there was quite a vibe there. Did you go there for the international final?
No, I found another place, very cool venue that we can use later. We'll talk off
camera. Top secret place.
But very cool.
Yeah, actually, I loved those grand finals. Because obviously I still know what's going on in Dota. I know what makes a win, what makes a loss, and what the players are doing. Some of the items I had to ask my friend Ryan to explain to me, like, what is this? I like the jungle item. I'm so
Iron Talon.
So keen to come back.
Everyone can jungle now.
Literally just pick up that and just jungle. I used to jungle Lena, where I did this thing where I would literally chop away the trees in the dire jungle and be up on the cliff, and you literally just keep resetting the creeps and it stacks them up, and you just burst them down. Did it with Drow, with Lena, with anything. And
check if it's still you can do it because they reworked the
jungle. They reworked jungle. But I used to come out at I used to level at the same pace as the solo mid. If you do it properly, you can level at the same pace as solo mid. So you essentially have 3 solo heroes, and I would come out with I would usually go something stupid like a Shadow Blade or something like that on a Lena or something. Just troll around.
Well, he's been missing the whole game. Now he's invisible as well.
But yeah, so like the Dota for me, the final was fantastic, and I did catch quite a bit of the grand final of the Telkom Masters. I watched a little bit of that. I would say maybe one of the final games. But I haven't really been watching anything else other than Overwatch for the last 2 months.
That has been quite
there's just so much going on. It's so hard to focus on more than one game, really. I love CS. At a very high level.
I love CS, and I mean, I watched following CS. I'll put the stream on and I'll watch. I won't sit there and be like, what's going on, as I used to be, but I still watch it. But with Overwatch, man, I just see, for me, I casted Dota. I was a play-by-play caster. Action was very far and in between. There was a lot of action. I'd be able to do my thing, and then I have to sit back and just watch, and have a conversation and kind of just watch it with my co-caster. Then CS came out, and it was hot. It was 2 minutes of just pure action, fire, fights every time. There was a little bit of downtime here and there. And then I decided, what the hell, we had this Overwatch tournament come up, and let me try my hand at Overwatch, and I absolutely love it. It's just action all the time. It doesn't matter. It's literally the only time you don't talk about what's going in action is literally that 2 minutes before they go out of there.
Even that guy that you were chatting to, that overseas caster, was mentioning, because there's so much action going on, you actually have to focus on talking about stuff that's going to happen.
You have to almost predict what's you can't sit there and read the kill feed. That's not how you do play by play. You have to basically follow one character, someone who's doing a lot of good shit. So a Genji or something like that. You just follow him, And you almost have to talk about what's going to happen. So looking at the ultimates, looking at the time, looking at the objective, what's going to happen, and then kind of just talk about when that happens, or if it doesn't, why did it happen. And so it takes a lot of, like, being a play-by-play caster for Overwatch. You can't be play-by-play and an analyst. You have to both have an extensive knowledge of the game, knowing the ultimates, knowing the cooldowns, knowing the rotations, and what ultis would be optimal in this. So it's like a very involved play-by-play casting. And I love it. And it's a very open market at the moment internationally as well. Yeah. So, I mean, you make it big, you get overseas. I mean,
you got a huge opportunity because, obviously Blizzard are putting a lot of money behind trying to make it like the next big esport.
And we're putting a lot of focus on it now as well. Like I want to be fully invested in Overwatch for the time being. I mean, I'll still complete all my CS casting I have to do this year. We've got left the year.
Some MGMS coming
just
up.
MGMS,
for that.
Just the MWeb Game Zone Master Series. Then that'll obviously be the LAN final as well. So it'll be. Is there
question about LAN? So I mean, it's something that's kind of like bugging me a little bit. It's like, for brands to want to get involved, LANs are the sexiest because it's like everyone there in one place. You got opportunity to sell drinks and do whatever and have a like real festivity.
Yeah.
But the costs are exorbitant. It's venue hire, it's casting hire, it's production, it's all that sort of stuff. Whereas if you do online tournaments, you're kind of like relying on people watching at home, unless you do a live viewing area, which then, let's be honest, your production costs are much lower because it's just renting a cinema essentially, because it's just a big place to stream something.
Yeah.
But an online tournament, then you've got like length or breadth of an event, because you can have an online tournament for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Whereas a LAN is, let's be honest, a max 10 days, but more likely like a weekend.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, for me, like, if you're trying to entice people or brands to come in and get return on investment, where do you think it is? Do you think it's in LANs, or do you think it's in like an online event?
I think if you're smart about it, I mean, Luca would give a much better answer, but my opinion, if you're smart about it, like, you look at a company like MWeb now hosting the MGMS, they have a venue. That's their own venue. So, I mean, that's kind of the starting, because obviously we're trying to look how we can start. We're not ready to throw money at the Cape Town Stadium and fill it up for a big game. But if you look at that for me is a perfect example of just to show the potential that gaming has for major brands. So you're Coca-Cola and you see there's a LAN there. There's no venue hire. There's no venue costs. There's literally, it's all in MWeb's expense. They have the 10 PCs. They have the internet. They have the auditorium, all the equipment. And you literally can say, here's 10,000 Rand. Make sure everyone drinks Coke for the weekend.
Yeah.
And there we go. There's your marketing for the weekend. Yes, it's a LAN event, but their logos will be on the stream. So I think that's where the difference comes in with that. So you're looking at an online event where you have, as you say, brand exposure through adverts, through logos on the screen, whatever. But then you look at a LAN event, you have the online component as well. For those that are in the arena and they're in the auditorium, in the hall watching, they are exposed to the brand. The brand's pushed out there. They're drinking Coke. They're looking at all the Asus products. They're looking at all the different things. And then on the stream, you have your adverts rolling, you have your logos and all that stuff. So it's almost best of both worlds. So I would definitely say that LAN is probably the bigger thing to invest in right now. And, looking for places like MWeb. I mean, there's no reason why MWeb can't have 4 LANs a year in their auditorium. They reserve it for once. And I mean, to my knowledge, when I worked there, that hall was used a lot for meetings and stuff like that and different presentations. But other than that, it was generally open. On a weekend, no one's there on a weekend. That hall is very, very rarely used. So MWeb could, in a sense, have 4 LANs a year. They could hire that. They could use that hall out. They can partner up with another competition, partner up with us, partner up with Perseus League, or whoever runs that, and be like, cool, LAN finals there. Yeah. There's the venue, there's the PCs, there's the internet.
I think the cost comes in where, okay, you'll be able to reduce costs by having the internet and the venue sorted. But, I mean, it's a case of, with LAN, you've got to fly all the teams up. You've got to accommodate them for the weekend. You've got to get casters live. Where otherwise, with an online tournament, it's like everyone just sits in the comfort of their home. It's like
put up a big enough prize pool. Sorry, Luca.
But then again, prize pool is money. Like, you've got to also pay for that.
But I think there's 2 ways to go about it. So either you pay for their flights and you drop the prize pool, or you kind of, it's almost like hiding in plain sight. You say, here's 100,000 Rand prize pool. They'll all fly there. But you don't tell them that, we could cut that by 30,000 and pay for all your flights. Then you say, here's a 70,000 Rand prize pool. It's not as attractive as a 100,000
Rand prize pool. But it's zero cost to you as a player. Yeah.
It's zero cost to you as a player. But the thing is, that's why organizations have their own private sponsors. Yeah. That's another thing. Brands being involved with private organizations, that will pay for those.
Yeah, because let's be honest, these teams are mostly like, if it's 5 guys, 3 of them in Cape Town, 2 in Joburg, and they kind of go, well, if the event's in Cape Town, we'll fly the 2 Joburg guys down and they won't even stay in a hotel. They'll crash at one of the other dudes' houses, for example. But it's like they're not paying for everyone. Like expect the Cape Town guys to like stay at their digs with their mom and dads. Or
I think
like,
a big thing like combining the two, obviously online and LAN. That's been a big focus, or at least something that we've been leaning towards. For the last 2 years, I'd say.
To be honest, I think that's the way to go. It's like because online gives you the reach that you kind of go. You're always doing this.
Build the hype.
You have the long
for
term
weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you build to this LAN event.
You have the long term build up to the LAN event. You create that hype, prior to that LAN event, and then I think, as you say, the LAN thing. Obviously you divide the two. Is it LAN having what we try to do at EGE, having a massive amount of people that fill up a huge space? That's the huge expense.
It's a flawless model, really.
Well, you go from
you say flawless, sorry.
In the sense from you take the he means the flawless, like the online to LAN.
Yeah, it's a model that you can't go wrong with.
I think a lot of
I disagree that you can't go wrong with it, because I think it's always been a problem is that transition in terms of I've enjoying. You've made it so good and enjoyable throughout the year. Why is the live experience any better? If you know what I mean, that's the thing you got to kick on too.
Yeah, you
have to make the live experience that
exactly,
good,
and that's why I feel like sometimes in this industry at the moment, like we're not using event people. If I think of all the events, they're being run by like. Let's be honest,
25-year-old kids.
No, well, besides that, it's like no offense to you guys, like that's not your area of expertise. You guys have put on LANs and you put on whatever, but you're like, if I said list your top area of expertise, it would be more on the eSports and organizing the tournaments and that sort of stuff, not the event PR and invites and all that sort of stuff. That's stuff you've had to learn to do to be able to make your event successful.
That's actually so true. And I mean, that was the one thing when I was in Joburg. I took business cards and stuff from the guys at the Samsung event, the production crews, because that's what they do. They hire a production crew, an event organizer, and that venue in Joburg, that it's in one of the fancy malls there next to the hotel. Yeah. The venue is incredible. It's got an upstairs section. It's got downstairs for a stage. I mean, it must cost an arm and a leg to hire it. But, like for any sort of Johannesburg land-based tournament, that is, for me, one of the perfect venues. And I really want to show it to some people. I can't remember where it was, but it was just so perfect. And it's built onto the hotel. So you literally, all teams stay in the hotel and you just literally walk across the parking lot and you're in the venue. And for me, it's one of the best venues. And they did that. They obviously, the Samsung we're talking about, so, money just flows out of their pockets. But you've got, they had an event team, they had a production team, they had a stage, guys that built the stage for them, that was separate from the production team, lighting team. I mean, they had everything for this event. And it just shows you that their job was easy from then on out. They hired all these people, they're professional, they paid well, and they just did
I think the issue, sorry, just to interrupt quickly, is that, like, from my background in sponsorship, is that there's the amount of people who they don't want to be, you break sponsorship down into bought, owned, and earned. As in, you bought the event, as in like, hey, this is Gareth Woods' event. Do you want to be my sponsor? Okay, here's $1 million. Cool. Now it's Kyle presents the Gareth Woods event, sort of thing. You've just bought into it. You get owned, as in that it's Kyle's event. You paid for it, ground up. Everything is yours. It's your event. You can brand however you want. And you get earned, which is a kind of like hybrid in a space where, like, you've gotten from a bought space and you've kind of moved it into an earned space. If you like JMB Met, JMB sponsors the Met, and then it gets to a stage where it's basically the JMB Met, even though they're still paying for it, but it's in a space where, like, you associate the two so closely. Yeah. And so I get the feeling that a lot of brands have this, like, open checkbook, but they don't want to do the legwork. Like, they don't want to be bothered with, like, how do I set up a LAN and how do I do it, whatever. They just want to go, okay, how much would 20% of the market share in esports cost? And you go, $5 million. You give me $5 million, I'll get you 20% market share. And they go, cool, there you go.
$5 million right now will probably get you 100% market share.
No, but what I'm saying is that, like, I feel that
you'll be surprised with the
amount of companies who just, they don't want to own events. They just want to brand them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What Arena as a company is going to facilitate. It's not that we, I myself is going to go and try and run events forever. No, for sure. It's when we get to the point where we can hire those types of people, involve them permanently. That will be covered. I think it's just actually getting to that point. I think where maybe the frustration comes in is knowing that maybe some entities actually do have that financing behind them. And they're still trying to do stuff on their own and not really coming out with a return from it, which might not be a good thing. But I think that is definitely, as you say, you find those companies that actually you create these events for them. So it's not as in Arena now is running around events sponsored by. It's not Arena. That's what we are. It's not that Arena will be running events sponsored by. It's like you say, those sponsors own the event and you're managing it for them.
No, you don't see like the to use an example like the JMB Met, you don't see the like Steel Series ESL1. It's ESL1.
Yeah.
That's it. ESL1. They have plenty of partners.
They own that event.
Yeah.
They sell the rights off to other people.
They got partners on board.
Yeah.
That's it. They got sponsors that come on board for each event, but it is ESL1.
Yeah.
ESL1 New York, Cologne, whatever you want to call it. It's just, that's it. And I mean, they have very... if you look all over Europe, you look at those production companies like PGL and those things. Those are all established production companies. They have all the equipment themselves. They've got all the people, all the staff there. No esports, and that's the biggest thing for me. That's why after we use the guys for SWC, we will probably want to keep using them because now
you've trained them.
It's kind of piqued their interest a bit because there will be a market for it. If you're a person working in production and you work for a small production company, there will be a market for it within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That people are going to be actively looking for.
Even if it's not esports, they'll be like, I need to be able to do live streaming for whatever your event is.
They actually came to us with the software for the live streaming, and it was incredible. I can't remember what it was called, but it was literally a little box that they streamed through the LAN, and you typed in an IP address, and boom, you're streaming online, and it was incredible. Directly straight to Twitch. You put the stream details in there, and it streamed it live to Twitch, and it was flawless. I mean, we didn't drop
that was the biggest surprise.
For the grand final, it worked perfectly immediately. And by some miracle, I got all the screens to work as well.
Yeah.
I just played around and eventually got all the screens to work and everything. And, we were a little bit late on the Sunday, but everything worked. And, the sound issue was a bit hard because you're working with essentially 3 different production machines. You had the sound, the video, and the actual production PC streaming machine. And getting those levels all perfect was quite hard, and we eventually, when we got that all sorted, everything ran like a dream. Didn't drop a single frame the entire tournament, and then just going to Brendan and going to the cameraman, and I forgot his name. Werner, going to him and saying like,
and Jacques as well.
I want you to fade in between camera and game, in between the scores. And I just said to them, you'll see they'll be standing in their base, and you fade. And he's like, cool. And then they were getting fancy with it.
Yeah.
they figured it out like this.
Taught them how to walk, then they started running.
They figured out like this, and then they were getting fancy with it. In between games, in between things, live streaming. And then even while we were doing panel hosting, they were switching between us and the camera and stuff like that. They kind of just learned. Yeah. And now if we have more time to sit down with them now, for another event, say now we want to do a Dota event, we come and we sit down with them.
And you plan that stuff.
And they say, cool, we've been following esports since we last saw you, and we got these really cool ideas, we want to do this, and like that's how it grows. And the next thing you know, you're the number one event or production.
And you won't have to wing it so much.
Yeah. You're the number one. Next thing you know, they've got an observer. They've hired an observer to come observe your Dota games, observe your CS games, and they're like, cool, we've been following, reading up online, we found this company, PGL. It just becomes like that, and that's how it grows. So that having those kind of people in this country right now is extremely valuable. Sure, it costs like 40-50 grand to hire them, but I mean, they at the same time, that's going to cost you nothing than what you would lose on an event if you have shoddy production quality.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's that's one of the big things is having that set program, set pre-schedule. Definitely what we struggled with, I think, on the Sunday.
But this is the thing I was talking about, where like you're relying to keep costs low on passionate people rather than professionals. If you had all the money, you'd get a completely professional thing, but would you be able to get return on investment? Probably not, because
not yet,
so you have to rely on using people who like, hell, I went to law school, I can do your contract. Are you an actual lawyer? No, but I can whip up my old textbooks and Google.
That's like someone saying to me, like my robot stopped working. You studied engineering into robotics. Can you fix this?
Yeah, I did first year 2 credits. Sure.
I think I had about 3 years under my belt. I'm sure I can fix your robot or your program. But yeah, I mean, one thing, talking about working with passionate people and not necessarily cutting costs, but saving costs. I would draw an example from last year with the CS:GO at the DGL with NAB guys. Their production setup was minimal. It worked for the most part. There were a couple of network issues, but obviously that's completely out of their control. And they had comms. You had Richard sitting on the left. When you guys did the Dota panel, we did the CS panel. And he had comms. He counted you down. He told you to talk about this.
Rich was super professional.
He pushed the direction, a little push direction, but he said, okay, cool, do this now. And I mean, for me, it was minimal, and the production was fine.
I think when Nav do a great job is that like they're quite good at going. We can do bare bones if you want, and I think a lot of sponsors appreciate that because they're like, they get quotes from these professional production teams, and it's like, 500,000 rand.
Yeah,
Nav will go
the
like
Nav guys upstairs in the dome, they had a professional production team doing the Heroes of the Storm tournament.
yeah with Helbert and
Yes.
But it's one of those things where they can go, cool, you don't have 500,000 rand, then we'll just give you what you need. You know what I mean? So it's like just bare bones, like panel, stream, whatever, what you need sort of thing. And it's I don't use the term good enough because it makes it sound like bare minimum, but like sometimes good enough is good enough.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It's like, cool, we have a panel, we've got a panel host, we've got the casters, we've got in-ear comms, we've got...
People can watch the game and enjoy the casting. Boom,
100%.
job done.
Why pay more?
One thing I want to mention is now, the one thing that I think Nav have done right is they've started involving a lot of individuals that do have expertise in other areas.
Yeah.
Like you've got, for example, Reddit's good at networking, that sort of stuff. He's kind of line of work. Then they brought on that new guy now who's casting alongside Nathaniel Michael Harmsa.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a background in sound production, if I'm not mistaken. So like they have these guys now. So if a problem arises, I mean, everything we've done, myself and Luca, is self-taught.
Yeah.
Getting these microphones to work, literally sitting for hours on end before ESWC, literally figuring out how to get the production, the video, the sound, the video, the cameras, the mics, everything to like talk to each other.
on WikiHow and
no,
YouTube tutorials.
It was trial and error. That's it. I literally we went.
Google was a friend there for sure.
Yeah, we went to their offices in Woodstock, was it?
No, they were in Cape Town.
Yeah, in Town City Centre.
Actually near your place.
And we sat there and we brainstormed a bit and we looked at all the equipment and I was like, we can do it like this. We can capture this screen. We can do this and we can do this. And then, if we had someone there who was a gamer, understood the game and was a production head, he could be like, do this. And we'd be like, cool. Instead, we sat there scratching our heads. And I mean, we felt the effect because it delayed us a bit. When we got to the actual setup, making all these things that were in our head now start working without. I mean, they knew how to do production, we knew how to do gaming. Yeah. And now it's like them trying to explain. They're mentioning all these weird cables and things that I'm just like, bro. And then we're like mentioning all these gaming terms. They're like, guys, what's going on? And then eventually everything just worked.
I guess it's just a process.
Yeah.
There's almost a role for a translator.
Yeah, true.
a gaming to English to tech head translator.
Like a mediator translator. But like the moving forward, as we kind of started talking about vacancies in esports, and now we found ourselves pretty much mentioning almost every single vacancy. So from advertising to marketing to lawyers to production teams.
It's the truth, I guess. It's eventually when those positions are filled, like you said, when they actually become worth your time.
Yeah.
When being a marketing manager for Bravado Gaming actually is going to pay you that salary every month or whoever it may be. I think that is, I guess, the slow but sure process. Yeah. I mean, what have we got coming up now? We got Rage coming up. We've got a couple more events. Got all these teams going overseas. Yeah. That's something we nearly missed. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, that's what Bravado's Dota CS. We got WRG's Dota. And we got Carbon CS team traveling to Dubai.
They left already.
They just left.
Yeah. Trevor sent me a picture of the entertainment complaining there's no hentai on the TVs.
Oh jeez, the one and only cannibalistic,
Trevor.
right? Yeah. And then we got obviously Bravado traveling to Paris in October. Yeah, I'll likely be jumping on board with them. Yeah, so going to go
obviously document that.
Yeah,
for
definitely. That's the main the main purpose. Just going there, following them around, seeing what they do, check out the venue.
International tournaments aside, we also still have quite a few local tournaments left. We've got MGMS.
Yes.
We've got.
The ACGL have just founded.
They're
going to be doing some
Nick
stuff.
And Clint.
Nick and Clint doing
our
some
friends
stuff.
from MWeb Clan Connection, Zombie Gamer. They brought themselves together basically now.
Yeah, to make
under ACGL. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's healthy that someone's kind of focusing on consoles. You know what I mean? Like, because it feels like the PC master races that were kind of like selected as cool. Esports will be a PC thing.
I just feel it's more accessible on PC because I mean, you know how. You know how annoying it was when I was helping out some of the Nick and them some of the console stuff when I was still with MWeb, and I was like, why don't you just make a Skype group? It's like, oh no, these guys don't use Skype. I'm like, why? They're like, oh, they're on console. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no.
So how do you say like
big Twitter community?
How do you like communicate? I know with a WhatsApp group. I'm like, that's a bit annoying.
Yeah, look, it's obviously a little bit more closed in the console community. I think obviously it's accessible for a lot of people because mom and dad buy kids a console before they buy them a PC half the time.
For Christmas.
So it's like, there's your console now.
And they go torment people on the local servers.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think where PC was more attractive to the initial sponsors in this country, like Telkom, was the fact that going, they can put on an event, and your link between PC and internet was so much more apparent than console and internet at one stage, because consoles were all offline until I think like the last generation.
Some FIFA with mates.
Yeah. So PC was easy, as it were. The other thing is that like to get other sponsors was easier, because you go, cool, you guys are using headsets, you guys are using keyboards, mice. They are using different hard drives, RAM, all sorts of components. They can get a sponsor for any one of those to brand it. If you're doing consoles, it's Xbox or PlayStation or the people who sell the game that they're playing. Yeah. Now that's a little bit hard to fund these players when you can't get money for prizes, because you're like, we'll give you a console. I already have a console, I'm playing on it. Oh, well, we'll give you a copy of the game. I already have the game, I'm playing on it. You know what I mean? Like, whereas with PC, give them laptops, give them components, all that stuff for the longest time before they started getting money. So I can understand why they made the decision, go for PC games first.
I think you'll find, guys like Clinton and Nick at ACGL, they'll probably know, I think almost from my side as well, it's quite similar. You're sort of getting comfortable and getting set in our little niche side of things, and then maybe spreading out into the other avenue. I'm sure I'll see them all. Obviously, they're doing their CS stuff now with MGMS, so they are dabbling in PC as well.
Yeah.
So I think it is just a process of almost setting ourselves, getting those foundations, I guess, set in place, and then maybe branching out into the opposite side. But I mean, we've been working with them now. We'll probably be, we are casting with them now as well. So,
and I think that's the key as well, is that like all these different organizations that like at least work together.
Exactly.
Because I mean, let's be honest, there will come a day where someone goes, screw everybody, I'm going on my own, and they're going to carve their own piece of the pie. I just hope that at that stage we've made the pie big enough.
EGE is probably the perfect example.
That everyone's got their own bit. That it's not a case of going like, cool, we all split and fragment and do our own things, and then it's all like this cool sustaining on your little sliver of.
I mean, I think probably what we put together, with the guys at EGE is probably the best example. I mean, how many different sort of avenues or brands were there working together to make that one thing work, and it was.
I like the board game stuff.
Yeah,
it was actually a big focus, as obviously with Pokemon being such a massive hype show. There was obviously a big focus this year, but. But
quick dead. It's all about Harry Potter going now.
But I mean, that eSports arena was very cool. I think that was actually, funny enough, obviously we'll be biased from our sides, but I think it was probably a focus this year. There were a lot of people there that hung there and sat around and really found their interests lying in the esports.
And look, it was a gamble in the sense of that focusing on multiple esports as opposed to the traditional cool, we're going to pick the top 3 or 4 and that's it. They were doing Hearthstone and
I think
FIFA and Street Fighter and all sorts. So I don't know, maybe we'll see later whether it's better to focus on the core ones and give them more space to them to be able to watch the things, or if it's better to give everyone a bit of time in the sun. But
if we can get people to watch, I think that's the main thing. So I guess the obvious one would be getting the most popular games for sure.
Overwatch. But the CS, I mean, we forgot about is ECL as well.
Coming up.
Champions League. That's now in literally 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
guys
starting next week.
Guys, go to Joburg for the ECL, and they've also built their own studio, which is another thing I think a lot of people are starting to look at now, is actually getting space to do these productions and stuff like that. Obviously, it's hard, especially in Joburg. You've got a production studio in one area, then you got to get your passport ready to come from the area you live in to go all the way there to do a 2-hour production to 13 viewers. So I mean, it's good that they're getting this production studio up and running now, and I mean, I think that's probably one of the pushes forward as we start looking to become. At this point, I think using the term professional is wrong, because I think some of the guys have really picked up the slack in this past year. I mean, we went from really poor quality at the end of last year in terms of production, and that's not necessarily saying the camera was crap or the mic was crap, just people's knowledge, just their actual.
I think it's upgrading from being a professional, because we all would say we're at a professional level where we can earn money from this because we're good enough, to a specialist, as in I do this at the exclusion of other things. So for example, at the moment I'm a caster, MC, stage host, panelist, whatever, but to eventually get the stage where cool, I'm a specialist stage host.
I see that's my problem, is I have not found what I enjoy doing most. I love casting. CS for me, the thing about, I moved across from Dota CS, not at the request of a lot of the CS players, but more at them saying, why don't you try CS? And then I was like, cool, I'll do it. And in the beginning, there was a lot of feedback, there was a lot of criticism from top players, guys that I really respected, guys that grew to respect me, and I did the CS thing. But that's somewhat shifted in the last few months because I've been a little bit too busy to continuously cast every single tournament, and also I work with a lot of different companies, so sometimes it's not easy to jump in and cast a game and stuff like that. So, I kind of swayed off CS for a bit, and in the beginning of the year when I was casting CS a lot, and last year, I was putting in between 8 and 10 hours a day of CSGO, playing, watching, casting. It kind of faded off this year because obviously I had to do a lot more things, and there's no more of that kind of mutual relationship between myself and a lot of the guys that I respected, and that's kind of fallen off. And it's just like, and for me, that's one of the main reasons why I don't really want to do CS anymore, is because like there's no more of that mutual respect. I mean, I made one comment and I got shat all over for it, and I wasn't personally proud of myself at ESWC. I felt I could have done a lot more, and although I enjoyed the casting, I just felt I was like, I could have done a better job if I had more time to put into it. And about 6 months ago, I was shitting all over other South African casters for not putting in time. And then I went
fall into the same trap.
And then I pretty much fell into that.
That's the thing. I mean, look at the guys get criticized overseas all the time. I mean,
it's the best casters in the world get criticized.
But it's not necessarily. It's not the criticism that was a problem. It's that I personally did not feel I did my best, and I did not.
So you're saying that there was some validity to what they were saying? Like
there was it was mainly just one person's comments that got to me. Someone who I really respected, and someone who helped me a lot when I started casting. It was just his comments that got to me the most. But that just made me realize. It's like that made me realize that. This is like, you can't get too close to players. You're a professional. You need to work on your own time and do your own things. Yeah. You can't rely on the feedback by the people. But the thing for me with CS is like at the moment it's just so saturated. Like there's a lot of really good guys out there that are casting CSGO at the moment in South Africa, and they're doing a much better job than I am at the moment. And because my attention is so split between several different things that I'm doing.
Well, do it. I mean, without getting to a life coaching situation, but you like just go. Don't always avoid the path of least resistance, because like that obviously means that there's like it's great, this idea to think like, oh, I'm just going to land on an island and there'll be gold there, I'll be the only one digging. Once gold's discovered, everyone will arrive. And so like you're going Overwatch because there's no one else here. If Overwatch becomes the next big thing, the gold diggers will arrive. So it's like you've got to pick your thing, and that's why I say go with the thing that like gives you the most passion. So for me, it's like, even if I think of my YouTube, I was trying a million different things. I was like doing blogs, I was doing vlogs, I was doing reviews, I was doing whatever. I didn't really enjoy doing reviews because I felt I had to be critical, and I often wasn't really critical of the game. Or I'd have to say things about a game I didn't even play because like that didn't interest me at all. So I've been focusing far more on like the Dota, and then even the blogs and that. I'm not putting on my YouTube anymore. I'm putting on my personal page. So it's one of those like, come to my channel for funny stuff and Dota related things. Come to my Facebook if you want to know about me and the shit that's going on in my life in terms of esports and my kid and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm doing it for me. And then I think people have appreciated it. And I've just seen my sub count increase dramatically since that mental shift to go like, I'm not putting out stuff that I think people want. I'm putting out stuff that I want to do. And so in the same way, I guess the advice would be like, pick the game that you enjoy doing most. Fuck, if it's WoW, whatever. Then even if you go, but no one's following WoW as a caster. Fuck it, do the thing that you dig doing.
Cast some PvP.
Whatever, like cast the thing that you dig doing.
I barely know my own class.
Friendship time at the fishing pool.
Because rather be the best, because everyone goes like, fuck, that oak digs what he's doing and it's authentic and all that, as opposed to like, just another CSGO guy who's on the gold mine because CSGO pays the best.
I've honestly, what you said now, I've thought about time and time again, many sleepless nights. But at the same time, it's just the casting as a whole. Like the jobs that I've done with MCing and stuff like that, those I've really enjoyed.
Then just MC more.
Yeah.
And do you know how that starts? And if I use my own microcosm of a comedy career, you start by approaching events and you offer to do your services for free. And I'll hate you because the people who get paid, if someone else is offering a quality product for free, it's hard to compete with that.
Oh no, I'm well past offering free.
No, but that's how you. I'm saying that's when you get in there.
No.
And then you go like, cool. Now we have a relationship. Now it's 4 times the cost of anyone else.
Well, I did when I did the Dota thing at the Gamers Fest.
Yeah.
I mean, that I really enjoyed. That was awesome, and I thought that was my ticket, for future MCing jobs in terms of esports. Shared obviously with yourself.
Yeah.
But that dream was laughing.
You gotta hustle, bro.
That dream was crashed.
2 weeks time, Carl's gonna be just reporting, hey?
Yeah. See,
or do you know what you would do? You know what you'd actually be really good at? You wrote a TI. You know what Purge did? Those like Those aftermatch analyses, those were fucking
Thanks,
awesome.
Purge. The Twitch chat. Thanks, Purge.
but everyone out of TI raved about those.
No, Purge was amazing.
They were amazing.
Even though he took it from Yanko from the CS:GO, but
it doesn't matter who he took it from because like there's no original ideas anymore. Everything's someone's gone.
If you make it better,
if I take that and I do that together, I've got a new thing, and people will go, "Fuck, you took that from here, and oh, you took that from there." Yeah, but now it's this, and this I own because no one else is doing it.
We were watching on the big screen at my friend's house, and we literally had myself and Tristan were there, and we literally had our phones open just reading Twitch chat because that's the best part.
That's the entertainment.
That was the best part of TR. The thanks Purge.
When they did the live, he actually did a weather segment of the one bit, and also when he was trolling some dude who was
the signboard.
With his sign or whatever, and
about the woo thing.
Woo for baby rage. Like when he just does hooks, that's awesome.
No, like the thing is like finding the whole MC thing. Like Luca says now, next week I'll just be doing reporting, no more casting. Like that for me, the biggest thing I always look back on, and when people ask me like what happened, why have I fallen off, why don't I do all these things anymore? For me, it was this realization that in 2013, when things were picking up in terms of casting, and there weren't a lot of people doing it, Lazy Gamer wrote an article about me, and it was a really nice article that they wrote by Zoe. She said that Congo Kyle eSports is the next big thing in South Africa, and now I work for them. So like you understand, like that's full circle for me. So like it was like that, and I mean there wasn't really ever a peak. There wasn't ever a point where. I was at the cusp of going overseas and becoming a professional caster. There was never that point, but it was just more the fact that it was having to work several different jobs to have to scramble to get the money to live and chase the dream.
Well, here's the thing. When I quit my job, the initial fear was like, okay, fill your day with things that pay. So it was like, do a review for MWeb, or write a blog, or do some webfluential work, or do like little bits of stuff just to get enough money. Even if it doesn't come anywhere close to your paycheck, at least you're bringing something because you're like, I was valuable to society because I earn money. But then what you realize is like, cool, I'm filling my day with crap. Yeah. Like, still it's crap I'm good at, but it's crap. Yeah. And then you go, what? I could have just stayed at my shitty job that I was getting paid thousands of times more. And it was shitty, but because I was good at it, I could like do 8 hours work in 2-3 hours and then faff for the rest of the hours doing my own thing and my passion and my side grind. But then you realize like, no, you quit your job to make the space to do what you want to do. And that is like grow myself as an esports personality and grow this esports industry. That was the thing. So for these last 6 or so months, it's been focusing on that. You're taking the odd jobs here and there because like when a good opportunity for pay comes around, but I'm not actively hunting shit work. Yeah. So I'm not going out and saying, oh, hey, guys at MWeb, can I please write reviews for you? It's just like, cool. If they offer me a review, I go, sweet. I'll add it to the things I need to do, and I do a video or do a review and you get paid for it. But you're not out hunting crap jobs. Because then you might as well go be a waiter. Yeah. Because then it's like, sweet, I can you probably get paid more per hour as a waiter. No, to just go like, cool, I'm going to go waiting for 5-6 hours a day.
Karen, she's a student, obviously now.
Your waitering's a perfect job.
I said to her, go, why don't you be a waitress? And I hooked her up with a job at Jerry's, the new one in Sea Point. And it's buckets of money. Yeah. But I was a waiter for about 5 years in university as well. And also, like, I bought my first PC, like, over December. I didn't go away. I didn't go anything. All my friends were traveling and
Waitering
stuff.
and bartending is great.
I waited for that. I waited for that 2 months I bought a PC for 16 grand and still had change after that. Yeah. And I was just like, I've never had that much money in my life in one little 2 month short period. Yeah. It's like waitering, and it's all tax free. In a sense, but you actually mentioned something. You mentioned something really something I want to touch on there. You mentioned webfluential, and I don't know if you saw over the last obviously Gamescom and stuff like that. There was the EA FIFA debacle where they had influencers there, and there was the whole debate on what sort of value influencers add to the gaming industry. And I'll go a little bit further and say what kind of influence they have on the esports industry as well. Is getting these individuals as opposed to people who have a great understanding, are really good at what they do, and the whole debate was they're not having professionals on stage; they're just having people that have very big social media reaches. What is your take on that? Look, I know,
and I work in PR, so
explain this to me because I really would love to understand it.
So the idea in influencer marketing is the fact that like if Luke and I are talking and we're talking about fishing or whatever sort of thing, and you go, "Hey, I'm a big fishing brand. You should buy my products." We're like, "Who the fuck are you, Mr. Brand?" Like, fuck off, we're having a conversation. Whereas if the three of us are talking about fishing and you happen to be a fishing expert and you've been paid by a fishing brand to talk about their brand and you go, oh dudes, you want to try fishing, you should try XYZ brand. We're going, sweet, we were talking about fishing, we trust each other, knowledge, you're an expert, I don't know that you've been paid to say that, but I trust you. So I guess the fine line is for influencers is accepting brands that they endorse naturally themselves. So that's always been difficult. It's like when I do influencer work, I struggle when they go, here's some money, promote our brand. It's like, yeah, but I don't use Tampax. It's hard to sell on an idea that I don't subscribe to myself. And I think what's important is for the brands and usually the PR agencies that are doing that is to select individuals that are likely to promote your product anyway. And so besides the fact that you don't have to pay as much then as well, because it's a case of going, hey, we're doing this esports event. So we get Kyle to endorse it. You just go, hey, this esports product is KIF, and you should check it out. I probably won't have to pay you. I maybe invite you to the event or to the press launch or whatever, or pay for your drinks, whatever. You have a good time. You're going to say something positive naturally, and you're going to influence people who follow you, and they're likely to follow you because of your knowledge in games and esports and casting, all that sort of stuff. So you're likely to touch a whole bunch of people that they aren't going to be able to themselves. Touch obviously mean message and not inappropriate either. But it's one of those things where I guess the problem is you get SMEs, subject matter experts, and then you get influencers. Influencers are just people that have a wide reach. And the risk is I prefer using in this sort of marketing strategy, using subject matter experts, because I'd rather message to someone who has 200 followers, of which all 200 look up to that guy as an expert in casting or whatever in esports, than a guy who has 40,000 followers, of which everyone follows him for a million different reasons. Yeah. Because the risk is not only is he usually a brand whore, because a million different people are going, sponsored Coke, sponsored by Danone, sponsored by whatever. In his timeline is literally just sponsored tweets. Yeah. But also it's a case of going, when he puts out a tweet, you don't know who's going to be hearing it. You don't know that it's going to be a core
You'd rather
gaming.
have a smaller dedicated following
exactly.
as opposed to a
and
massive.
The dedicated following, when you tweet something that's like, oh dude, you should check out this event, whatever, they're going to go, oh, hectic, how was it? And you're going to respond to them because it's your 200, it's your tight-knit fellowship of people who follow you.
I think I only have about 700.
But I'm sure if you went through who they are, they're probably quite niche.
There's a lot of naked bots models. No. But I mean, on the other end,
everyone's got those. But it's if you ever even typed a tweet that said the word
and
iPad, you get 10 followers, and that will be bots, free iPads, blah, 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 naked nude, whatever.
Yeah, no, I just asked because obviously there was Lazy Gamer writes the Flame Debate Friday article, Friday Flame Debate, and it's raining.
It's like these spurts.
Is it raining?
I don't think so.
Weird. I just hear rain.
We should cancel because that's how we do things.
We
cancel. Rain.
Sorry. But as I was saying, they wrote the Flame Debate Friday thing, and that was on influencer marketing. And I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't.
But
I'll go check it out.
They spoke about, and obviously the comments were very varied. But as you said about being given a product you don't use, they say Tampax. Now, to use a more realistic example,
I don't use Tampax.
Yeah, for nosebleeds. But for as Zoe mentioned in the comments, she's a mom now, and she said she was approached to do stuff for a baby formula, and her baby doesn't use formula. So in a sense, it's almost like a moral outline that you kind of always have to look at to say now, if I was given, I'm a PC guy right now, and I'm not an influencer, and I've never been approached to be an influencer or anything like that, but if I was given an Xbox now and say, promote this Xbox, I'd be like, no, I don't play console. I don't enjoy playing console.
Yeah, I don't think you'd say no. You try and find the angle. Because the thing is, what's difficult.
But my audience wouldn't like it. That's the thing. I don't have a varied audience. I have a very niche audience, and they would not enjoy that.
What's difficult is that you've got to balance the fact that so someone recently I'm on a campaign and they've asked me to do a YouTube video to promote this product that I don't use. I understand the intrinsics of the product and why it's better than another product, but I don't use it because whatever legacy, I use a different product. Yeah. And I've got no problem with the service I get from X product. But it's a case of going, now I need to put up a YouTube video, and I'm going, especially since the decision I made where YouTube is about content, Facebook is about me. Yeah. I would be way more comfortable to do a Facebook video to go, hey, XYZ product, you should use it, KIF fun, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's been recommended to me and you should check it out. Yeah. Than a YouTube video because I'm going, it's not even about official because it's on YouTube I'm going, who the fuck cares? You're coming to my channel for lols or Dota. That's why you're coming on, or for some of the giveaways I do. That's the only reason you subscribe to my channel. All of a sudden there's a this random, even if it doesn't feel paid for, even if it's like quite comedic and all that, but it's like really out of place. It means the hits are going to be low, which means they're going to go, oh, we don't feel like we got the value, which means I'm not going to get hired again. So it's one of those things, then you get one of those hollow paychecks. It's like, cool, we're paying you begrudgingly because we promised we pay you, but you're never going to get work again.
And generally,
we'll call you.
You use something like Facebook for a video and your sort of reach is far quicker.
Higher, exactly, yeah.
Because how many people, I mean, like YouTube has an extremely high user base daily. Like people watching billions of videos daily. But at the same time, you know, looking at YouTube, you have, I would say, a lot more interactive audience.
You mean Facebook?
Facebook. Yeah. You have a much more interactive audience. I mean, I make a random status and it gets like 40 odd likes. I mean, that's
scarier than that, because Facebook, and I mean, this is a whole pod by itself. It's like Facebook is trying to become YouTube in the fact that like Facebook video is promoted in your feed above. Look at the moment. If you go through your Facebook feed, it's like video. Like videos are promoted above pictures. Pictures are promoted above posts, which is why, like, I tried something the other day. You post something that's just a statement, I finally came out the closet, boom, gets 40 likes, whatever. If you put a picture saying the same thing, you get so much more engagement. If you put a video saying the same thing, like honestly, triple the amount of engagement, because they using their algorithm put videos, content into people's feed more often. So you're promoted to put video. The other thing is that they're more kind on what counts as a view. YouTube, I'm going to screw up the numbers, but it was something like you have to watch 20 seconds or 20% of the video, whichever is shorter. Or longer, or whatever, I can't remember. But it's probably shorter.
Makes sense, yeah.
Whereas Facebook, it's 7 seconds. So for it to count as a view, you only have to watch 7 seconds of a video. And on Facebook, a lot of people have an autoplay.
I'm seeing a lot of videos, pictures, and sponsored links.
Exactly.
So,
How many just like it used to be? Like
surprisingly,
like Kyle is feeling happy today, like it used to be. Like that's hardly any. Like it's all pictures, links.
The furthest one is
like every sponsored link is an image, like directing you straight to a link.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And so I honestly feel Facebook is trying to become the next YouTube. Like that, people will go to Facebook for video content over YouTube.
Yeah, I mean it's almost it's difficult to choose between the two now. It's getting to that point.
Well, the problem for YouTube creators is that you're going, I'm getting paid for hits on YouTube. I'm not getting paid a cent on Facebook. Yeah. And what's disgusting is happening at the moment is the guys who put out good content on YouTube, guys just rip it and then post it on their own Facebook page. I've seen, for example,
SoFlo Antonio. Remember that old debacle with
I follow so many like Dota pages on Facebook, and you'll see a clip and you'll be like, oh, that's from Action Slacks, or that's from Dota What the Fuck, or that's from Middle Meepo. Like literally just taken, post on there, put their own watermark on, so now it's their video, 40,000 views or whatever, and it's just like those are all views that the guy actually made the content is not getting, and therefore is not getting paid for. That's nuts. It's disgusting.
That was a big
quite a couple pages do get credit.
a big one was Tyrese Gibson, the American R&B singer who posts all these like funny little clips, 5-6 second like funny clips, adds a little like tag of his, and then he'll literally put his iTunes his CD, his sale link in the link to the video.
Millions so you're of views. I'm talking millions.
It's nuts.
Of like 100
I think he
views.
actually has the biggest Facebook page. He might be one of the guys. He's like changing the
like
Ronaldo's
music.
And Shakira's.
That's the other thing around it. The biggest Facebook pages are things like movies. Yeah. Like the Facebook page for movies. When you go interests, and if you go, I'm interested in movies, you automatically have liked like the movies page. It's got something like 17 billion likes. Okay, well. Like more than there are humans on the planet.
No, that's Luca's right. That is some serious like, and I see a lot of the Dota pages and CS pages. They do actually credit.
No, but what do you credit? I've now watched the video. You're not going to go watch it again on someone else's video.
Give it a click at least. Give it extra.
That's very true. Like it happens very often. I mean, it's like you said, it's so easy just to rip it, pop it up.
But the thing is, you're ripping it for no purpose. Yeah. You're ripping it to make your Facebook bigger. You're not getting money from it. Yeah. You're literally taking money off someone else to not give it to
in the hopes that when you do maybe post the video, everyone will go watch it because you have so many likes on your Facebook page.
Yeah, like that's why you can actually like embed YouTube videos now in your Facebook, which is far more valuable because they still get the clicks, they still get the likes.
Except that there's also a rumor that, remember I was saying about how much things are promoted? Facebook video is promoted above external video.
Actually, surprisingly, as I went to my Facebook
it would
now,
make sense,
and the first post for me is a YouTube link posted on someone else's.
No, it's not that that other stuff's not promoted. It's about like if an equal amount of Facebook Live, Facebook video, YouTube links, external links, pictures, Instagram links, and normal statements come out. They all get put in. So there's 2 of each one. They will literally be in order, like the most promoted. Remember, it's not so much order, but it's about how many people it shows up on.
Yeah.
The Facebook live video will show up on the most amount of people.
Like the amount of times down the roll, it'll be like 2, 1, 1,
Yeah,
2,
yeah, yeah.
1, 2,
I
1,
mean,
1.
Which is why often you'll
videos-
never hear from a friend, and then suddenly they got married, and you'll hear about it. But that's because it's got like 400 likes, 13
Yeah.
shares, whatever. So they're going, Facebook's algorithm's going, this is relevant to more than just the 10 people that always interact with this person.
Yeah.
It's relevant to more and more people.
No, like I just to take a swing back to the influencer thing. I agree with you. I think it has its place in marketing. I think, but like at the moment in South Africa, especially in terms of gaming, it's such a new thing, and esports specifically, it's such a new thing that, you know, yes, having these people do, and I mean, I'm going to use an example here. When you did the CS thing, you're not a CS player, but you came here and you did all your research. And I mean, it's like, it's, if in my opinion, I mean, you didn't do that because you're an influencer. You did that because you're a good
Well, I want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And I thought if I didn't do it, I'd do a shit job.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, now if, for example, you had to go and promote a game or something and you didn't know anything about it or anything like that, you know, I now know that you're going to go to the research. You get a lot of people that don't
I have
do that.
never reviewed a game that I haven't played, and at least played, usually till clocking it, but at least played it till the point where like I've done everything in the game.
Same with me when I used to review games. I don't really do much anymore besides the ones that no one wants to do at Lazy Game. I like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But I got given Farmville.
Yeah.
No, Farming
Farm
Simulator,
Simulator.
2015, when I was still working for MWeb, and I played it.
Yeah.
I hated every second of it, but I played it.
Good game.
I actually played it, and I built a farm.
Well, like
and
for example, No Man's Sky. So I've given a copy, and I'll send out my influencer tweets in the fact of going like, playing the game, really enjoying this, and it's not a lie because you're talking about the things you're enjoying, you've experienced it. I won't do a review of NMS because like I won't play it long enough to review it, because that is like at least drop 20 hours to at least start giving a review.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I think it's as long as it just doesn't become malicious. You know, like you have like a good example would be of those guys that promoted themselves or used themselves to promote their gambling site, which is why all this stuff happened with all the gambling. You know, they faked, or they were influencing the site, not saying that they were actually owners of it. You know, marketing the site.
Yeah.
So they were using the system, obviously creating fake bets, winning more than it should have been. And then
I wasn't aware of that. Sure.
Yeah,
The
so-
shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
I wrote like a 5-6 part
Yeah,
series
there was
on it.
a cool guy.
We're
There
on
was,
Lazy.
Honor the Call, a
Check it out,
YouTube
okay.
guy.
Yeah.
I remember he did all this investigation, and then H3H3 jumped on it and created a video, and that hyped everything up.
Oh, hectic.
So was this like these two guys specifically?
So they're the ones who spoiled the party
Yeah,
for
they
everyone
spoiled
else.
it for everyone. They're literally two dudes that T Martin.
No,
I can't remember the other
it
guy.
actually all started with I think with Mo, the CS:GO Diamonds.
Yeah, that was the first.
It started with
beginning of-
Mo, then it spread across to.
It's just when they found out that it's like the biggest sites, CS:GO
Yeah.
Jackpot, and they owned
And
it,
then-
and they were promoting it.
and
they
then
were
it went
two of the
across
biggest
to Pro
YouTubers in the world
Syndicate.
as well. So
Yeah,
it's
Pro
like-
Syndicate T Martin. Then
Yeah.
that involved the FaZe guys. Then that involved Josh OG. Then that involved pretty much everybody.
Because then it starts getting close to like match fixing.
Oh yeah, no,
Because
it's-
you're actually getting players to throw games for
They
more
were
than just $322.
The
amount of
biggest
viewers
one
that
was
wanna sue
Phantom
them.
Lord, who was actually fixing percent. He was finding out the percentages from the developers, so you knew how much to bet and stuff like that. That was the biggest
But
one.
he's in big trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are the community's fans, people that were obviously taking part, betting in the
Well,
site. They're all sending through.
His girlfriend started tweeting
trying
again.
to sue.
Oh, yeah.
For about 4 weeks, him and his girlfriend were dead silent on Twitter. And now I see his girlfriend's tweeting and streaming. I actually want to double check. I don't think he actually has tweeted anything since. I think he's just, I know that and the only reason someone would go quiet after a thing like
that Phantom Lord has done some
No,
very
unless they've been
questionable
told.
is
things
because
on
they've been
stream.
luring up. Their lawyer said to
the
them,
lawyer said,
"Don't
just shut
say-"
up. Like,
Yeah.
just shut up.
He was, his last tweet was on the 16th of July.
Yeah.
So almost a month gone
Yeah.
by and he hasn't said a word. But yeah, the that's the just wrap up.
Keep
the
it safe.
influence, the influencer
Keep it safe.
thing.
Be safe out there, guys.
I see a place for it, but I don't want this country to become too reliant on perhaps uninformed people. I mean, there are people out there who are doing a lot of work to become informed, but like you said, you have a person whose feed is littered with 1 million products they're promoting.
Do you know what it'll come down to? And this is something I've noticed like throughout this journey going into YouTube and all that, authenticity. Like people are getting so good because they're just flooded with sponsored message, blah blah. It's just like the authenticity thing. And so that's why like I might even get to the stage where if I'm not feeling authentic about the stuff, but it's work, just putting a hashtag sponsored on the thing to go like, I'm saying this, it's a sponsored message because like you paid to do it. But it's a case of going like, because you want to stay authentic, because the minute you get that tag as being like, inauthentic, just a body for hire.
With the online community, that just spreads. Like
the same thing happened with me in
wildfire.
SteelSeries. I've very, very rarely promoted their products on my page unless it was a giveaway or something like that, or it was a product that I was given.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've been my product of choice for the last 4 years at least. It's products that I enjoy using. So I became synonymous with their brand. People thought of me, they thought of SteelSeries, and locally it was SteelSeries and then me. So it was like, but people knew. I didn't have to promote it on my page. I did enough giveaways, enough posts like that. It wasn't necessarily stuff like that. And now with my new partnership with Asus as well, at the same time, I mean, they don't expect me. They saw the model I did with SteelSeries, and they like, that's perfect. Other sponsors I've had in the past wanted me to put. They gave me literally schedules. And they were like, put this on your page.
That's what's been great with Alan and myself with SteelSeries. Is like, I was always a fanboy, so I approached them to go like, hey, can I do some like quid pro quo stuff? You give me stuff, I review it, I talk about it, I do a giveaway, because I like your product. Yeah. It's not a case of going randomly, some product goes to you, hey, we're XBZ headset, you heard of us? No. Well, we'd like to give you a dump truck full of money to talk about how great they are. Okay. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that whole thing of a proper influencer is probably already a fan of your product. And now they're like, they don't mind talking about it because it comes completely authentically. Yeah. Because they would, now they're talking on camera because you're given the opportunity, because you're doing a giveaway and something newsworthy. Where if you take the camera away, they would have that same conversation with a friend. Going, you should totally use this headset. Like, it's the best, or this is the best for its price, or XYZ, whatever. But
and that's the same thing. I like that. Like I said, previous sponsors would give me like a social media schedule, which they'd say the post in blue, you have to post them. And
at 10 o'clock.
And I was like, no. I was like,
I've had jobs like that where you get phoned at like 12, and they said like, you had a tweet due at like 11.
No.
And you're like, what? Like, no. Like, it was between 11 and 12. It's now 5:12. You didn't tweet.
And whoa!
I mean, that's like
schedule out for the day.
When I approached Asus, it was literally just, I want to be sponsored, I want to be partnered with you, and they're like, no, we're giving you, and that, like, it's quite a job list. Like, it's quite a lot of work for them, and I like it. I'm not used to it. It's something completely new for me. It's not. I'm not just a brand ambassador now. It's something that's actual work that I have to do, and I like it. And none of it involves me posting. Posting all their products.
Like lies or sales pitches or...
It's none of that. I mean, it's literally just... I haven't officially announced yet, but I have told quite a few people about it, and I'm with them. I've been with them since beginning of August, is it? Yeah, beginning of August.
It's on me, man.
Hey, you were the one who hooked me up. So beginning of August, and like I'm still waiting to officially announce it because I've been waiting for some responses, but... At the same time, like they don't expect me to now sit and flood my page with Asus products. As long as people know that I'm partnered with them, people know that I use their stuff. That's it. Boom.
People will stop listening when
when you start flooding pages. And I mean, the same goes for. I mean, they have their own pages for that thing. If you want to learn about Asus products, you go to Asus ROG ZA or you go to Asus ZA. There are all their posts all about their products. If any product coming out special stuff, like you go there, that's where you find it. If you're going to go to some sort of influencer or brand ambassador or sponsored person, their posts are going to be like, for Instagram, you take a photo of your keyboard, put a little bit of sepia on or something, put it up on Instagram, and that's it. There, that's your post.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, hashtag blessed, hashtag sponsored,
bless her.
Hashtag gamer girl. Add all the hashtags you need. But that's the that's just of it for me, and that's the kind of influencer market that I can see a very good future in. Is that you take individuals that know the scene, know the products.
But that's how it's supposed to work.
It is, but that's not how it works.
No, it's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
But that is lazy PR companies. Because what they're doing...
I'm glad you said it, not me.
But what they're doing is they search on Twitter. And here's a tip to anyone who wants to become an influencer. If you've got a big following because whatever, you're the expert in cycling and you want to become an expert in gaming, just put gamer in your Twitter bio. Because all these agencies are doing, because they don't fucking know who the gamers are. They're going, gamer. And out comes, and to be honest, you know who the two biggest gamers in this country, most influential gamers in this country, would be Jack Parrow and Ryan Konkowski. Because they have the biggest following, and in their bio has the word gamer.
Oh, it's so funny.
And so technically, if you're a PR company who knows fuck all about gaming, you'd be like, those are the two biggest gamers in this country.
Didn't Jack Parrow just...
You go Gamescom. Look, he is a gamer. I'm not trying to take that away from him. But if you go, who is going to reach the most gamers? yeah, he'll reach a lot of people, but no one is looking at Jack Parrow going like, I'm going to get my gaming advice from Jack Parrow.
It's his music. I mean, I like his music. That's why I follow Jack Parrow.
100%. But what I'm saying is like agencies will just go like that. That's literally how they search them. They'll search gamer or they'll search esports. Or
then I have no idea how Samsung found me then through their R&D department because.
No, but they might have gone esports and you've got that in your bio and you're one of the.
But it was nothing to. I literally had to sit and research mobile gaming.
But you don't know what they were searching for to find you. They might have gone, we want someone with esports credentials. And so they go esports and you're one of the top maybe 30 people on Twitter that have esports in their bio. And they go, yeah, cool, heard of him. Or they ask a couple of people who know the industry and they go, sweet, use Congo.
Okay. Clash Royale's at ESWC this year, dude. Mobile esports, right?
Oh, dude.
But yeah, actually,
mobile games are reserved for toilet breaks.
Funny about Kankowski was actually a good friend of mine, a gamer as well. Old COD 4 player, Roadrunner, Sean Grobler, Bravado player, whatever, just swinging names here. But I was hanging at his place this weekend, huge cycler. And his good friend, cyclist, is married to Kankowski's sister.
Okay.
And she goes on about how much this guy plays Dota. And it's just like you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's a giant.
I used to play every single day with Ryan.
She says the Steel Series stuff he has, like he just like can't deal with it. He has so much like awesome.
Yeah, but that's because the guys will go 6
months ago.
Because the guys will go literally like gamer. Ryan, do you want this headset? Brilliant. Here you go. Talk about our stuff.
Well.
I'm literally gonna go change my bio on Twitter right now just to gamer. Just gamer. It's like gamer. As many characters I can fill.
Love gaming.
No, but like like Ryan, he was here at the Rage CT as well. He came down to the and we used to play Dota back when I played Dota. Like it was like 2012, I think. I used to play a lot with him and Davin from IS. And a couple of other guys in the IS friendship circle there.
Cool.
We used to play Dota with them, and
it's getting there, man.
He was there. And I mean, if anyone deserves to do influencing with Dota, I would go with Ryan because he does play. I think he has almost 7 hours.
Yeah, she said the amount of hours that he has.
No, I'm sure,
ridiculous.
and like I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to take it away from anyone, but I'm just saying that lazy PR agencies, that's the result. Is like
completely.
You get people who are influencers, not subject matter experts.
Okay.
Completely.
Cool. I think that's a good place to sign off. Like,
well, what are we doing? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, that was the 6 month wrap up.
I mean, for the rest of the year, we don't really. There's still like December's always a dead month for esports. Gaming wise,
no way. It's Christmas. You talk about all the games.
No, I don't want to work for Christmas now.
Let's talk about Gamescom next week because.
You mean BlizzCon?
No, Gamescom that's just happened. Yeah. Let's talk about that next week because if we start that now, that's another half hour.
I'll have to go research.
Come on, Kyle. You're one of your signature sign-offs here for us.
Well, I'm honestly just gonna. There's a very sophisticated.
Yeah, look at this. Professional.
Yeah, actually, I've been looking like we're just like kicking back here.
It is nice, actually.
It's
well, we'll have to wait to hear the audio, but it looks like it's fine. Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna cut it off there, and of course, a little bit of a wrap up of pretty much everything we spoke about. Not everything, but most things that happened in the last 2 months that we've been away. And hopefully we'll be back next week on time on the Wednesday or Tuesday out for another podcast. But anyway, cheerio.
Cheers.